Hey guys, this is the latest GDTV podcast, and we have a good few people with us today. First of all, we have Rexasaur,
Hey guys.
the Rambler,
Hello.
Decider,
Hello.
and Lovesbuds.
Hello, dudes.
And I am your host, Crab Hunter. Today we have three relatively new items that have been released to talk about. First of all, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. The announcement trailer has just been released today. What do you guys think about it?
Well, we got. I only just saw this. Saw this trailer tonight. I messed up my words there. Lovely.
All right.
And it's obviously it's going to build more upon the whole ship combat thing. I'm interested to see how they're going to do because the main thing about Assassin's Creed is you've got these huge areas, run around towns and all that. And I'm just kind of wondering about the locations more than anything at the moment.
Over 50.
So this game's mainly focusing on ship combat.
But is it though? Is that what it is?
Well, I think
is that what they said?
I don't think we really know about if it's going to be concretely about ship combat on itself.
It kind of reminds me a bit like Sid Meier's Pirates, where you kind of like
That
go
was
from
such
place
a
to
good
place.
game.
I've not played it myself, but I have heard, and I'm not. This is just don't shoot me if it's not true. Is I have heard that the game might have like 40% or like 30% ship combat and like 60% land combat, because apparently how it's going to be is there's like three larger cities that you go around and you do missions on them. Whether or not this actually makes it into the final game remains to be seen. However, I'll be honest, I'm voicing my concern a bit. It's only been, about less than 6 months since the previous Assassin's Creed game came out. So, does that mean that the company that's making them is following the Call of Duty trend, which is releasing it on a regular basis, but not really putting any thought into the story?
Well, I think the idea behind this announcement was that the game actually got leaked, so they thought, let's announce it properly, quickly. But then you could see it in another light as well, that apparently they've been developing it for at least 2 years already, and that you could see that Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't really an amazing game, so it's more of a transition game. So they could trial naval combat, they could set up a new story, they could open up a new area. So we've got it's relatively in the same time period, I understand. Instead of aggressively attacking the British in this game, I believe you're attacking the Spanish Navy, or at least from the trailer, it's certainly against the Spanish.
I bet you there'll be some French ships around there somewhere.
Yeah, it'd probably be about a mix. Whoever's around at the time, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And the British had a kind of a stranglehold in that region as well.
Yeah,
in
that
terms
is
of
true. That is true.
Go the
Trolley
Navy.
Islands.
Well, it depends who the assassin. Do we know his name yet? Or
Edward, I think.
Edward. That's a random name.
I'm assuming.
I'll assume he'd be British then.
I'm assuming there's probably going to be some links to famous people in this one. Like, I think I saw Blackbeard in there.
Certainly looks like him.
Yeah. No smoking beard though. Ah, shame.
Same, yeah.
maybe later.
Do you think though, because this game is set at a different time to Assassin's Creed 3, that maybe the ship combat may not be as awe-inspiring or as impressive as, say, the third one? Because
the third one you only had like small-scale ships anyway. I think this one, if you could control like a galleon or something with like over 100 cannons on each side,
that'd be awesome.
Well, I think your initial ship starts with about 6 cannons, but you can upgrade it to about 50, and you can have various different types of cannon and stuff like that.
Flame shot and everything like that.
Yeah, well, I just assume, and the thing you say about technology, because it's set in 50 years before, maybe.
About 1715, I think it said somewhere.
Yeah, it's not incredible. Yeah, that's about 70 years ish from the.
Yeah, I think it's around the what I read somewhere was the golden age of piracy, around 1720s.
Yeah, it's not going to have that much technological
No.
difference because it's pretty much
fair enough.
kept the same.
Well, we're not going to see like 200 gun ships as seen in the Napoleonic
Well,
Wars,
no,
are we?
yeah, obviously not.
No, but that would be cool.
DLC?
That- Yeah, Napoleonic Wars, and then it's sort of like, yeah, now you're starting to cash in. Though that said, they probably will do something along those lines at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. You get the opportunity to assassinate Napoleon or something silly.
But we're getting off topic now.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, of course.
So I think the idea is that you have the main single player, and then as an add-on for replay value, you can then hunt around the Caribbean looking for vessels to plunder. I'm not sure if it's actually free roaming, but that would be interesting. If you like just set sail, and then like 10 minutes later you come to come upon a trading ship and you intercept it.
Obviously, if you have the whole of the Caribbean to sail, it would having that free roam is a bit too much. Maybe you'd have areas of free roaming, and then you get a certain distance away, you'll be traveling.
Here's another thing which I've just thought of: multiplayer. Something that tells me they'll probably use the ship aspect, fighting-wise, for multiplayer. It makes sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, have ship battles.
Yeah, I'd definitely have a go at that. That's for sure.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, definitely. It'd be interesting to see how they'd implement it, but like get a certain amount of people. But anyway, so with that said, what will you say your final kind of looks upon it? What do you think the game? How do you think the game will turn out?
I think it's got potential. It's we'll see, because a lot of people aren't faff because it's like, oh, it's going to be in pirate, and it'll be a lot of ships and no more assassinating from buildings, jumping off roofs into haystacks, that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure it might have the ability to do that anyway. So
yeah, I reckon those sort of things will still be around, because you got places like Port Royal and Tortuga, for example. They were big pirate towns that were popular with them. And they might make them towns up as the big three like cities you can roam around in.
Probably have a lot of different factions as well with that.
Interesting.
Decider, rambling.
I was a bit confused about the setting, but as I've read a bit more about it, it does seem quite interesting, and kind of does. I guess it might be able to fit in quite well with the previous games in the series, but I think it's taking it in a slightly different direction to what it has previously been.
Okay, fair enough. And Decider?
Well, I've personally never really played the Assassin's Creed series, but I think this is the most interesting game in itself, purely the setting, and they're putting down a marker, because not many games have done a pirate setting before, and if they couple that with naval combat and the normal Assassin's Creed concept where you just assassinate people, I think that could be really interesting.
I think combating on ships, like having boarding actions, would just be amazing.
That I think would be kind of. I think that's, since the people on the trailer. I'm assuming there's going to be links to this. People can see the boarding part, and I like that. That I'd like. Plus, also, then I wouldn't have to feel bad about killing my own people in Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah. All right. So on to the next game. ARMA 3. For all you ARMA fans out there, has just been released as an alpha on Steam. 20 quid if you want to go grab it. I'm probably going to go grab it relatively soon. What do you guys think of it?
Okay, well, originally ARMA 3, its development stages have been influenced by external events, like a few of the developers unfortunately getting arrested in Greece, but now have been returned home. And of course, quite a few, the two of them were very important to the development of the project. One of them was a lead designer, so of course his concepts and ideas and work were all removed from the project during his absence. But they're back there, and I believe they've settled in. But moving on, the game itself looks very impressive. Compared to ARMA 2's engine, there have been massive improvements in UI, physics, general gameplay, and they've put in a lot of new dynamic mechanics. So you can go scuba diving, and if there's just so much we can talk about in this podcast about Arma 3. It's amazing what they've done so far. So if anyone else wants to talk about their first looks.
Well, I've only seen the helicopter footage that you put on Game Decider earlier today, well, the day of recording anyway, which is Tuesday. And from what I saw, I think the game itself looks much nicer than Arma 2 did in sort of graphics wise. Also, this I don't know. I just really like that sort of setting of you can pretty much be a person and do these military things realistically. Well, almost as if it was you doing it, and flying that helicopter. Just I don't know. It sounded really awesome, and also the don't know if that was the same in Arma 2 because I haven't really seen that much of it. But there's sort of like the radio of people talking to you and telling you that there's enemies there and you've got to go do things to them and whatever. I just really like that concept, and I think that I think Arma 3 might be the one I might get into Arma.
Well, I've been into Arma for quite some time now, and the integration of RV4, which is the engine they use, virtual reality. I think it's virtual reality. I think.
Could be
Anyway, I think it's. Is it real or virtual?
I think it was alternative or something like that. Can't remember what it was called. I read it somewhere.
Yeah, I have to admit, I saw a couple of trailers for it, and I've been into the Arma series. I've actually been into the Bohemia group since I was quite young because I started playing Flashpoint when I was maybe about 10. And I fell in love with the game, the soundtrack. I loved the editor on it. And one of the main aspects of the game that I really enjoyed about Arma was the ability to make your own levels from complete scratch at times. And all they do is they give you a map, fill it with a bit of life into it, and then they just said feel free to do what you want. And that's one of the major aspects of Arma 2 and Operation Flashpoint that I got into. I like the look of this game. It looks like a major improvement on the last one. However, graphically, to be honest, haven't seen too much differences. I mean, it may look shine. The light may shine a little brighter, but my computer has never been able to play Arma 2 at a high rate. So one of the things I'm looking forward to most is the physics involved, because now if anyone ever runs you over, instead of you just falling down dead, you probably can go 20 feet into the air like a balloon. And also, I like the fact that you can disguise yourself now as a couple of the bad guys to achieve your goals. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of PvPing there'll be. As sort of like, what are you doing there? I'm fighting on your side, sir. Good, go this way. And then someone goes and sneaks around the back and plants a bomb or something like that. I'm really looking forward to someone getting an ultimate troll contest to like sneak behind your lines. I mean, that's just my opinion of it. I mean, I'm hoping that they can do more with Arma 2. And don't forget the modding community. I mean, good God, imagine I-44 on Arma 3. Ooh. That'd be awesome.
I just need to correct a mistake I made earlier. It's actually the Real Virtuality 4.0 engine.
Yeah.
Nicely corrected.
Yes, you've saved the day. Well done.
I think, because we saw, was it Daisy Origins coming, like, sort of straight away, coming in, like, was it yesterday or the day before?
Well, it didn't just come out.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, it got improved or whatever, and that's a pretty recent happening. So Arma 3 and Daisy.
Well, Daisy Origins isn't related to Daisy itself directly, let's try and forget about the Daisy craze going on. Although I played Daisy, but the main focus for Arma 3, Daisy's just like it's obviously just a mod originally, so let's just focus on Arma 3 for the moment. There are two maps in Arma 3, Atlas, I think that's how you say it, and Stratus, and they renamed one of the maps to get away from all the Greek issue, and in the in the alpha, you can only play Atlas. I think it's Atlas. I've got them both muddled around. It's sorry, Stratus is the small one, and that's about that is the small one. And what you can do in the alpha is that you get 2 multiplayer missions, which you can play with 8 friends, and you have 4 walkthroughs in the single player. You can then build and customize your own missions, so you have quite a lot of replay value there until the summer when they actually hopefully release ARMA 3. And you should be able to play those custom missions that you've made with friends on multiplayer. So you're not just being restricted with the single player missions and multiplayer missions that they've made for you, but they're giving you a real variety and giving you the sandbox play that everyone loved about ARMA 2, because you could create whatever you wanted really in the single player, and then they're giving that to you in this amazing looking engine. It's really fluid. The problem with ARMA 2 in some cases was that the animations were so unfluid that some people just didn't like it because of the animations, and they've really nailed it on all accounts really in the alpha that I've played so far. The movement is so fluid, the ragdolls are amazing, vehicle physics are amazing, everything's just amazing about it. The only problem I had with it was the actual sounding of some of the interactions. Because the physics are so fluid, it's really hard to get the audio linked with that, and it's obviously something you got to work on with Alpha.
That's something that's the main reason why I couldn't get into ARMA 2 was the movement itself. It looked a bit robotic almost, and but obviously with what you're saying with the audio, this is obviously still in alpha. They've still got quite far to go until the full game, so
yeah,
I'd assume that they'll fix that in time.
Yeah, I was meant to. There was something about the old ARMA that I kind of liked about it. It's like it didn't feel so human. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm going to like this new one, and I'm going to like the ragdoll physics and all that jazz. But there was something about the simplicity of the animations that was just quite nice. Like you could, for example, no doubt, if any of you guys who have played previous ARMAs, who are listening and also who are here, whenever you see an explosion, you just see this sort of flattish-looking corpse flying through the air as it's been blown up by dynamite or something, or you see this explosion and this one person standing perfectly still as he's whizzing through the air, and he's standing upright but he's upside down. So all these little things it just looks really fun, and there's times where I kind of liked the simplicity of it. But to be honest, it will be nice also to sort of plant a charge, spawn a couple of civilians and just go just to see what the physics are like, because let's face it, you've done it, admit it. You've been tempted to go, oh, look at this new physics. I wonder if I got a grenade and I chucked it into a bunch of civilians, what would happen? I'm going to hell, but it was worth it. So I'm looking forward to ARMA 3, and who knows, maybe even in the tank combat it might be even better still, because you get like animations of people being on fire and ragdolls. Who knows? Realistic fires and all that jazz.
Yeah, so in the maps that you have, what do you get what kind of vehicles do you get? I know obviously you get the helicopter, but do they have like tanks and shit?
Well, in the alpha, they're restricting it, I think it's 8. Let me just double check the statistics.
Deciders in a relationship status with ARMA 3.
I think as long as if I can drive around in a old banger like I could in ARMA 2, I'll be happy.
Yes, I'll go on my bicycle down the road. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to...
That's one of the things I really liked, was the fact that you could just get anything in ARMA 2, literally. You could
grab a
just
goat, ride on it,
anything, and just go somewhere and do whatever you want with it.
I love the fact
that's
you could...
great.
Yeah, I love the
and
fact
you could do it. The fact that you could do it in first person or third, and you could just... You could set up 2 armies of tanks to fight each other and just run through them saying, "Way!"
To be honest, I remember the time I was going through ARMA 2, and I'm hoping they do it in this game, is the craziness of running through a town that's being like a massive battle waging, and you're a cow. and you're the cow that's like, I've got to escape. You know, as World War III's raging around you, you're like, come on, I'm not gonna be a burger. You know, something stupid like that. But yeah, I hope they do that in this game. But I'm liking the concept of the physics as well, because that was a bit of a pain in the arse in Arma 2. You could whenever you were driving, all of a sudden you'd hit a tree and your car would stop dead. I'm kind of hoping that they've sorted that out.
A bit like most simulators nowadays, like Farm Simulator.
I was on a ATV in Arma 3, and you could actually drive up the hill like it would in real life. But some of the problems in Arma 2 was that for some reason halfway up a hill you just stop because for some reason the calculation of I don't know why, but for some reason it just seems more realistic in Arma 3. But that comes because of development of hardware, and they've got
of course
they've got so much time to improve the game. But you can drive 8 vehicles. You have access to 12 weapons, and there are 3 factions in the alpha. What they're doing is also allowing everyone to mod the game if they actually purchased the alpha, pre-ordered the game, and so this means that the modding community from Arma, we could see Ace, we could see Invasion 1944, and even Daisy mini mod or something for Arma 3. And of course this will be on Stratus map, not the main massive gigantic map that they've made that is the main storyline for Arma 3.
How big is Stratus? And how big will the big one be? Like in miles?
Is it going to be as big as Operation Flashpoint's Dragon Rising's map? I can't remember. Like that was apparently the largest map that in like made using that.
I don't know if that's the alpha one or the final one.
Hang on, let me just look on the internet. Have a look. See. Is it like is it like Churner Rush where it's got no it's not like Everon Malden where you've got an island surrounded by water, because I kind of liked what they did with Churner Rushes. Arma.
Okay. Stratus is 20 kilometers squared as Matt just said, and Altis. I'm struggling to pronounce it, but it's
Limenos.
ALTIS. It's not Atlas because
Stratus. I see.
It's spelled like this. So
I'm not because it doesn't really feel like any.
Altis. Okay. 170 kilometers squared.
Holy.
So what?
Bigger than Cherno, I believe.
What?
That's bigger than the Isle of Man.
Dun dun dun.
Not to mention this other map, Limenos, is meant to be about 3 times the size of Chernarus.
Ooh, it's sorry. There's another map.
Yeah, they got the I've got something here. You carry on while I check this up.
Sorry, they renamed it, didn't they?
They renamed it. Oh yeah.
Is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Arma 3. I'm just trying to find it now. Try and find the map so I can have a look, see, give my comment on it. Because being the host and all.
Well, I say my comment is it's bigger than the Isle of Man.
I'm not sure that Altis was a good choice of names.
Is this? I've got a map called Limenos, which is kind of big. It's got. I think there's like a line saying 5 km. I'm not a good map reader, so I'm going to assume that's a lot.
5 km is 5 kilometers.
Well, I know, but I'm going to assume that in the way that it's done, the map looks reasonably large. Like, I mean, obviously, this might be one of those smaller maps. I'm not sure, but
well, we know that it's 270 kilometers squared, which is pretty damn big because that's Chernarus was 225 kilometers squared. So
that sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Looks amazing. Okay. It would appear that it is time to move on from Arma. So before we head off from Arma, what do you guys think of Arma? What were your final opinions on this matter?
How about Alex?
I don't really know. Well, I've never played much Arma before, except with Love Spuds, and then I just, like I said, as long as I can drive around in an old banger, having some fun with friends on some custom maps, then I'll be fine. Well, and if it plays out smoother than Arma 2, and kind of, I found in Arma 2, I tend to get, I think it's just my settings I have on the computer that it tends to be quite glary. So I don't know, if it's all a bit smoother and I can still drive around in an old banger, I'll be happy.
Okay. Decider?
Well, I'm obviously going to be quite pro Arma, but it's very it's very interesting. I think that I used to love Arma 2 just because of the gameplay mechanics, but now they've fixed not all the problems, but they've fixed the major issues with Arma 2. And just on the point of performance, I believe, this is just some things I've heard, that people can run Arma 3 more fluidly than Arma 2, but people with higher end systems at the moment, it's only alpha, people with higher end systems are finding it more difficult to run Arma 3 on highest graphics, but at the lower end of the spectrum, people are saying they can run Arma 3 more smoothly. That could just because of the map size is smaller, but it's something to look out for.
Okay, Rexasaur?
Well, I think I haven't really played it much, but I just know it from watching the videos, and I think that it's still in alpha. It's still got some things to show, and I can't wait to see what it has to show. To be fair.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Love Spuds.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna try and read up more about it in the coming months, but I want to see what happens with the AI because sometimes that was really quite derpy at some points in the last game, and yeah, because they would do stupid things sometimes. They were like stand in front of things, even. The civilians driving on the road, they were a bit silly as well, because I watched someone just kept reversing and going forward. That was always funny to watch.
Saying that, in one of the scenarios I played, they have AIs driving, just normal humans driving in along a road, and he actually stopped to wait. I walked in front of the car to stop it, and the car actually stopped, and then I walked away, and it carried on.
That's impressive.
But
what you didn't see was the fact that the thing went into a building and exploded.
Just ran
what you didn't see was the person inside flipping you off.
The ragdoll physics flipper. No, I think one of the other things I will say, one more bit on the AI though, was the fact that at some points, yes, the AI was really stupid, but there were other points where, like for example in I-44, I remember being on Cherno Rushes and we were doing a domination match. And we were going towards the town on the far right, not at the bottom, but to the far right. Quite an open area, has a couple of factories. And this one bloody German able to headshot me from over a mile away. And it was like, how?
Oh, I know that
feeling. I couldn't believe it. But no, but that's another one of those things. Did the AI feel like it could be super smart at some points in your playthrough, Decider?
Well, when I played it, I actually died multiple times. There were multiple scenarios, and I died multiple times in each. Not the helicopter one, because that was pro. I'm just a pro pilot. But the ones where it's like ground combat, infantry-based combat, you have to play very carefully, and the AI actually assault your position. So you could just be running, and because they've designed the terrain in such a imaginative way that they could be flanking you from any direction, you could just be running along, a guy with a heavy machine gun pops over the hill and starts laying down suppressing fire. But it's not just in Arma 2 you used to see them just stop and they shoot at you and then lie down and shoot at you.
Yeah,
it's not like that anymore. It's really fluid. It's more realistic. You couldn't fault the AI movement or shooting at me in the demos I played. So yeah, very interesting.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Does sound very awesome. Right. Okay. So for the last one, the big one. Well, maybe not the big one, but still, one great game. Rome 2 has released the Teutoburg. If any of you guys are listening, know the exact way of pronouncing it, please put in the comment section, because we've been trying this for
Teutoburg.
hours.
I would say Teutoburg.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Teutoburg.
Teutoburg? Is it going to be Teutoburg? Okay, well, prepare for rage if you're wrong. They've released that Teuton/Titan Forest trailer, showing one of the greatest ambushes in ancient times. And also it's showcasing a new faction. I can't remember the name of the faction, honestly.
They're
but I know
replacing
it's
Germania.
Yeah, it's Germania. I'm just going to say Germania for the sake of ease. So the new
I
faction,
think it's
Germania.
a Swebos. It's
Germania.
Swebos.
Let's say Germania because it's easier on our tongues. It's Germania faction. A new Germania faction is in the game, which means that there are now. Hang on, let me think. There's Macedon. There's Rome itself.
6 of them, I think.
Yeah, 6 factions.
Yeah,
there is a Gallic-like faction in there.
Yeah, there's 6. There are 6.
6 factions.
I think there are 2 more, isn't there?
Carthage, the Iceni.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, no, there are 2 more to be released, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 more.
Yeah, so
I'm
I'm expecting. Yeah, I'm expecting Eastern.
Well, with
factions.
Egypt, aren't we?
Probably.
Egypt
I reckon
isn't released.
Egypt's probably going to be a
It's
big.
gonna be Egypt's gonna be called the Ptolemaic, obviously.
What about
And it's. I think
Pontus?
I think it will be. I think it's gonna be Egypt and Pontus, and every other faction possible will probably be released as DLC.
That or.
Oh, hang on. They did say playable factions. So,
so
do they? When they say playable, does that mean just single player? Because when we
Oh
saw,
yeah. Obviously.
because if you saw in other Total War games, when they said playable factions, that's only what you can play in the single player. But in multiplayer, you'll be able to play a vast array of factions. I'm just saying, but maybe they will only have 6 factions to begin with in multiplayer.
Well,
I'm kind
that
of
would be
they go the
really
way
annoying.
that Rome went, which was as you say, only these amount of factions in the single player, but in the multiplayer,
You play
can,
everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I really hope they go the way of Rome campaign. I know you've got to update, and I know you've got to do something new to keep the people interested. But to be honest, there's not a campaign I'd happily play more than the Rome campaign. I adored Rome campaign. Sorry, that's just me.
I think they are keeping it new in the sort of you can now have ship and land battles in the same battle. I
Like
think
to see how they
that's
implement
one
that.
of the that's one of the things that I really want to see how they do. Another thing that they're keeping, the fact that you've got 3 different factions within each faction, so you can play between the 3 Roman families or 3 Macedonian different.
That's cool.
And I think one thing that they need to come back, and a lot of us, especially me and Alex, think that they should get free for all back in the multiplayer.
Yeah.
definitely. So I can win tournaments.
Yes, you're all about the community, aren't you, Decider?
Have we all watched the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes, I've watched it. It looks awesome.
I absolutely love the trailer. I think it was just a masterpiece.
I think I squeaked when I saw the first trailer for the Carthage one, but then when I saw that, I was just like, I need this game. Stop teasing me.
It was just so well made.
Oh, the graphics.
And it just
looked
the
amazing.
thing is, it's most of it is all gameplay as well, so you can literally just do that in game.
I think
want
what
that.
the Total War series has over quite a lot of the competitors is that from the very start, most of the trailers and promotional content has been actual in-game footage. Their engine allows them to promote their game as it is, whereas other games have to use CGI, whereas Total War don't have to do that.
Well, I don't know actually. I mean, personally, I'm keeping optimistic. So what you say, I'm fingers crossing, is true, but I'm not sure whether. I mean, I don't know if they could actually achieve what you say is achievable in that trailer, because there's got to be something. Because if it's like a trailer for it, they have extra abilities in that. So
Well, it's going to be obviously it's going to be done on a higher powered processor thing.
Oh,
it was a scripted battle. I think right. So originally, sorry, they have like with scenarios in Rome and Empire Total War or whatever other Total War game, they have scripted introductions where they tell units to go to A to B and then do X, Y, and Z, and they've just filmed that, and that is what the trailer is. So it wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't someone
players that
playing it.
It wasn't someone playing it, but it was scripted. But that was actual in-game. It was the engine showing you what it could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I'm still impressed by it.
A couple of the kind of additions that they made. I hope that you on the campaign map you can actually do ambushes like that, so you can actually spring out from the trees and have the flaming balls go down into people that way. And if you kind of research the correct technologies to be able to do that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing that would really make.
Yeah, one of the things I'm also looking forward to Rome is the technologies, because that's been implemented like in Empire and Napoleon really. And we hadn't seen that in Rome yet. And I'm thinking, well, what kind of technologies can you get? Do you eventually, as the Romans, get the technology of the Marian reforms, or is there another like set things that you need to do, like build a main town fortress thing?
I wonder. There's actually one question which I'm gonna throw out there for if any of you guys are experts on it. Do you think the Senate will return?
Obviously. I'm sorry, that is one of the things that defined Rome.
That's one of the things that made me so happy when I could finally kill the Senate.
What they have said is that politics in factions. Well, I think they said this. I can't directly remember, but I think it was
stuff up now.
No, I might be making it up, but I'm sure I heard this from a designer or someone on the forums that they're trying to. Like when you were mentioning like the 3 mini factions in a faction, like the different families, and they're trying to introduce politics into Total War. So you have different mindsets, different ideas, and then each family and a faction will have like different bonuses to other factions. So Rome might be enemy to Germania if one family took control, but if another family was in control, then you might be allies.
So So like, say if the Iceni were ruled by a military family, and the Romans are like, oh, we don't like military expansion, then they'll be disliking them. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I like that idea.
We mentioned that.
Sorry.
So talking so much, but with Empire we talk about so much advancement in the Total War engine. So what didn't we have in Rome that we had in Empire, and we're going to see in and in Shogun 2? What are we going to see in Rome 2, which is going to revolutionize how people play like a Rome game? So we have spectator mode.
Yeah, we also have the experience for generals. And units apparently as well.
And let's hope that the Cretan archers make a return. That's for damn sure.
Co-op campaign.
Let's hope for a multiplayer.
I would like a multiplayer campaign for sure.
Yeah, there has to be a multiplayer campaign. I think it would be rather stupid if there. But here's a question for you guys: if you are wondering, do you fear/hope? I'm just going for your opinions, that an avatar ranking system similar to that of the ones used in Shogun will be implemented into Rome 2?
I really don't want that. I hated Shogun 2's multiplayer in general. Just overall, I just disliked it entirely.
I think it wouldn't work, because in Shogun the reason you could have that is because every army had the same units to pick from. In Rome, you have several different factions with completely different units, so it just wouldn't work unless you had an avatar for every army, which just wouldn't work anyway.
To be honest, sorry to interrupt.
What they should definitely do, what they should take from Shogun 2 is that they shouldn't have specialized units that you take across to each battle, but you should have your general should be. You can change your general, you can change your name, you can do whatever you want to him, you can change your faction's colours, but you can't change the units at the heart of your army. And also with the clan battles, like you could form your own mini faction. So you know how you could have a Roman army would have its own name. You have like a little bit like a clan, so you create a clan and then people join your army,
or a family,
and these families or armies battle it out on a similar to Shogun 2.
Well, like battling out on a sort of map of
a tactical map or something.
Of Europe, and then do it. I think that would having the ability to join a clan, having your personalized color scheme for your army. would be a good addition. But having an avatar system exactly like Shogun 2 would
Awful.
not work. Would be
Yeah.
rubbish.
I'll tell you one thing that I kind of missed out of all of the later Total War games that I think would be amazing if they brought back. The general speeches at the beginning of the game.
Well, they brought
yes,
it back.
they brought it back
for
for
Shogun 2.
Yeah, but Shogun I felt wasn't as inspiring.
It's because it was in Japanese.
Well, it's not just the fact that it was in Japanese. They still had text, but even in another language, it can feel inspiring if you kind of get the mood for it. But in, like, for example, if they brought the voice actors back from the first Rome game, I know in a sense some people will be like, I don't like it, fag, or something stupid like that. I know some people will want to hear some new stuff, but I would love to hear, and remember this amongst all, our Roman gods are watching, make sure they are not ashamed. And I literally went, yeah. Oh wait, I'm a gamer.
Because I think one of the greatest thing about Rome, because I mean a lot of us are actually still doing Rome campaigns, but one of the things is that the traits of the general, the amount of times he's battled the enemy before, changes the speech that he makes.
I know.
And it's just so good. It's just that fact of...
That's what they should incorporate in multiplayer.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. That's actually something I didn't think about.
This opposing player is a fag. He only uses archers. What a fool.
Yes. Now you see, that's what they... That's what...
That's fantastic. I want a general who does that.
That is actually
in
amazing.
In Shogun 2, they did have that. You used to get traits like this guy quits a lot of battles, so you get a trait to say that you quit a lot of battles.
Yeah, like you use a lot of swordsmen, and we get
now,
a trait.
let's think swordsman. What in Shogun 2's multiplayer, what did work was the XP ranking up system. With the old Total Wars, how you had the star ranking system.
Yeah.
I did like it, but I found it very confusing because people didn't know when how far until you got the next star. So if you introduce a general ranking system, or an army ranking system, so overall your army is ranked.
Well, I think it wouldn't work with an army because of the amount of factions. The general would be the better way to do this.
I think, to be honest, maybe even just have a personal rating system, because, to be honest, I think if people have a ranking system, it kind of... I don't know, I liked it when ranking systems wasn't actually something that affected your army. So, say, for example, if I was a rank 1 and Rexasaur was a rank 6 army, I don't like the concept, and this is just because I'm a bit of a bigger fan of the older games, is I don't like the concept of how he may have used maybe unfair tactics. I'm not saying you do use unfair tactics, but I'm just using it as an example.
Bastard.
Damn it, you figured it out. I'm saying I think what would be kind of cool is if they kind of just said, you got this far because you were on the longest, and because of that you are rank 6, not you've used a certain tactic again and again and again, and you haven't really used any tactics, you've just spammed.
One of the defining points of Rome Total War was that no matter how long you'd play, you were at the same level as another person with the exact same.
That's what I was trying to sort of get across. If that's
2 points I want to quickly make about this issue. Firstly, I think that a ranking system is needed, and I think it needs to be, for instance, a bit like a Battlefield XP system, but you don't get any rewards for it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it needs to be very XP based because it's going to add to the replay value. So you can unlock aesthetics. You can unlock aesthetics.
Maybe like new armor or
something.
Banners or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you can unlock traits for the campaign or something like that. To be
honest, that would be a good idea. But the other thing, one of the things that put me off the multiplayer in Shogun was the fact that whenever I spawned in game, I'd be paired up with someone who was like, this trait means that no matter what you do or how hard you try, the opponent will see where you placed your units, therefore by nullifying any kind of traditional Rome Total War scenario, which was basically you set up a game, you see your opponent, you think, yes, I'm going to get him, and then all of a sudden you hear a horn in the background of a bunch like 600 cav, you're like, shit, and there you go.
There's just a slight problem here. They're introducing True Sight. Well, sorry, True Sight is the Company of Heroes name for the...
Fog of War?
Yeah,
like a Fog of War.
Yeah,
but
well,
only-
where it's not really like it's not Fog of War. It's like a dynamic.
like when the unit sees another unit, you can
Kind
see
of. It's going. It's exactly the. Sorry, I think it's True Sight or something. I can't remember, but it's exactly like the Company of Heroes. Well, not exactly, but it's similar. I like how they're doing it. I like how Total War's doing it, and I like how Company of Heroes doing it.
Yeah. But I'm hoping. I mean, to be honest, he's hoping that Rome 2 doesn't fall into the problem, like into the trend of mainstream gaming, where it's sort of like social media, and you know, it's like, in Rome you can conquer the world. Now conquer your friend's Facebook. It's just like, no, please don't. Please,
I don't think.
I don't think Total War's going that way.
And I don't think they're going to add live streaming technology into the game. I don't think it's. Remember, Total War is not really aimed at. Okay, it's aimed at children as well, but remember, quite a lot.
It's the one who likes history.
Its audience is adults as well, and remember
I know that, but ever since the console failing, I've just had this reserved fear that when a game becomes too popular, because you've seen it with DayZ, the game becomes corrupted. That's just my personal opinion about of popularity of games, which is they're all right so long as they don't get corrupted. If you get what I mean, I'm just a bit of a panicky person. When
Definitely, but then it's if a game does become popular, then it's how the developer handles it. If they handle it in a as if they were just developing their core community, then I think developers have to realize that should they develop for the majority or should they develop for the core community who have been following them from day one. So. As I think in the last podcast, was it the last podcast? The podcast where someone was talking about the simplicity, developers making games more simplistic.
Yeah, that was us.
Yeah.
I think it was someone here.
Yeah.
But
you're not naming anyone.
The idea that you make games more simplistic to appeal to a larger audience, I think that people have come. If your game's popular, people have come to your game because of your game. They haven't. If they come to your game and you get popular, then you should stick to your core concepts and not change and drift away from it.
I think Total War games in itself have actually stayed stuck true to that since the first ever Shogun.
Indeed.
I am glad of this.
What do you think, Alex? Let's have a bit of point of view of you because you've been quiet.
Yeah.
What? I was trying to talk about the trailer. I thought we were going to talk about the trailer, but then we drifted.
We did.
Well, go on, talk about the trailer then.
Yes, trailer time.
No, it's okay.
Okay, well, let's try and focus a bit of a subject. Let me try and let's pretend that I'm a host at some point. Now let's try and see if I can work this hosting thing. So, what did you find to be the most impressive? For example, the forest, because so far in trailers we've only seen desert, mostly dry areas. What do you think of the graphics engine? Do you think in this trailer has shown the best side of the rural landscape, the sort of beautiful mountains and the lovely rivers and the floating dead Roman bodies, sort of thing?
Yes, I do.
That's the best answer. Good. Oh, well done. That's amazing. Here's a Nobel Prize and a cookie. You did great.
Well, no, the engine itself looks amazing, and they've said that they are trying to keep the minimum specs the same as Shogun.
So aren't they using the same engine as Shogun?
Well, it's going to be like a heavily modified engine, I presume.
Well, they say that if you can run Shogun now, then you should be able to run this one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God! Because I was.
And if I can run it to that kind of spec that they're showing in the trailer, which is probably slightly optimized, then oh my God!
If I could run my Rome 2 at that, I think I would never leave my house. Just be like, Rome. Nah, Love Spuds. So sorry, we haven't heard anything from you. What are your opinions on the Rome games? We've kind of decided to dominating along with Rexasaur.
Well, it's just a shame that I haven't really seen too much of it. I've been watching the trailer over and over again and think, to think how far Rome has come from 10 years ago, it's just
definitely
mind-boggling. And as Alex says, if I can run the game like that, I'd just be sat there with my mouth wide open, dribbling all over the keyboard.
The death rate of people dying from electricity has gone staggeringly high since the release of Rome Total War 2. Here's a representation of it. Zzz, oh my God! Zzz, and he does.
We must remember that the series has actually been renamed to Total War. Rome
Oh,
2.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm so.
I don't know why they did that. It's not really. No, sorry, it's
To
nothing
be
to
honest,
do.
I'm going to still call it Rome Total War. Even if the developer sticks a gun
no.
on my head and go, "You will call it Total War Rome," I'll be like, "Nah, Rome Total."
It's because it's total. I think I honestly can't wait for the game. To be fair, it's
same.
just going to be one of those games that, after being with Rome Total War ever since its release and sticking to it even after all the other releases, playing the other ones, I stuck to Rome because it was just that element of replayability. It had its bugs, but it had its amazingness as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know. I just can't wait for this game.
But then-
Pigs. They must include pigs.
Oh,
I think
God, Alex, and your
Right.
pigs.
I think they'll also include screaming women as well, because let's face it, everyone would love to see a bunch of HD resolution girls just going, "Wah!"
It's a very
No.
accurate representation of women.
This is Germanic women.
I mean,
we're just gonna throw it out there. There's Germanic women in Rome 1.
What I
Pain in the
really
arse
want
to
to see as well is what different units they're gonna get. Are they gonna? Because in most of in the Total War games, they had very badly represented units historically, and now they've gone back. They've gone to the historically represented names. Are they going to go much more historically represented? Are they going to keep? Are they going to do English names and Latin names, or you know? that
Probably
kind of
they're
thing?
gonna have something simple. So, okay, you first.
no. it's
Oh,
fine.
no, you first. I heard you say, "God damn it! Come on, you blasphemed."
I'll just jump in.
Okay,
No!
jump in. No, you drive the car.
They're bringing
in, terms,
back
in,
dogs.
in terms of languages, it would be nice. I mean, even if they do the simple or the Latin names, it'd be nice to have a choice whether you want them or not.
Yes,
Just
that
like
is,
an on or
yeah.
off option.
Good point.
A bit like the Japanese speeches. I would have liked to have a
Yeah.
choice to hear them in English.
That would be cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I have to admit though, I have to admit, I kind of laughed half the time whenever I was in Fall of the Samurai, because it's like, "It will be an honor," and it's just like, oh god, just speak Japanese for God's sake. You know, it was pretty.
I don't know. I like the Japanese English accent.
I loved the British unit. The "I say what," and I'm like, oh, you are a legend. But anyway, we're staying on Rome too, because I don't
Right.
want. Yes, ramblings. Please do say something.
Ramble on,
I was
please.
just going to say that they're bringing back the dogs, which is going to be awesome.
Yes!
In the,
Saw that in the trailer. I literally, and when I saw
Oh.
I don't care what you think. When I saw,
Now, come on, Rexasaur, say your piece, and let's have the rambler. I'm going to be a harsh but fair person. Right, say
he's
your
finally,
piece, rambler.
finally hosting. Took him a while. When I saw the death animation, all that, and it's just the variety of all those animations within the game is just going to be so much fun to look at, and for people like Decider and me, who like making machinimas, using that is just going to be so good.
It'd be actually quite impressive if you could find a way of modding it so you could get the people to talk, and it's just like, oh, you have made a film. So, the Rambler, what else do you want to say about this? Come on.
They're bringing back the god dogs.
Okay.
Well,
you
I was
said-
going to go on to more than that, but then I got interrupted again.
So, go on then.
Right, so basically the live action capture, they've actually built their own studio.
Cool.
Then they have various different. Well, they compared to Shogun 2, I think they've like tripled the size of the cameras which they use for the live motion capture. They've actually
That's cool.
created their own studio. They bought it all in. They get actors in to kind of actually do all of the fighting, and it just looks immense.
I have to admit, I have heard something about that. I haven't heard anything about that, like much-wise, but I have heard something about how they've updated their systems so that way the animations in it are looking cool. Now, one thing I'd like to go back to along the historical units tile, do you think that they will, in this, because it's such a large game, do you think they will be as diverse? This is a question to all of you guys, I would say. So everyone say their piece, so I'm going to do it in order. So first off, Rexasaur answers, then the Rambler, then Decider, then Lovespuds. Okay. Do you think that the unit variety will be similar to that of the first Rome, where you had one nation or a number of nations having only pikemen, then Rome having ultimate infantry, and then the barbarians only having this type of unit? Because, you know, that.
Well, one of the things you've got to realise is that in the first Rome was meant to win the campaign. That was the plan. of you play Rome, you've got to win. So everything was buffed and whatever. In this one, I'm hoping there'll be a degree of evenness between the units.
They have to make Carthage more powerful than in the base game of Rome 1.
I think the only
because Rome at that Carthage at that time was more powerful than Rome. But in the first Rome, they would get obliterated in the first 50 turns or so, and all that did happen. That did happen over 140 years.
Okay.
I mean, after the Second Punic War, they were pretty screwed.
Yeah, the game.
I don't really think starting off, because Carthage is one of my favourite factions. The units were just not good.
Well, I think
they need to kind of balance that out.
Yeah, but it was a bitch to take on elephants with your soldier, especially since at the time I had no idea about javelins. You know,
pigs.
I'd rather have. Dude, it's so much better to have elephants charging at you because then at least you know.
Yeah, but even so, early on in Cardiff,
in Cardiff, the legions of Cardiff approach. Oh God!
Early on, you could. You can recruit elephants at that level. Carthage was the only place that could actually recruit a lot of good units in the original campaign as Carthage, and all the other places were all a bunch of toss. Awesome. I'm just hoping that every single faction will be balanced and have. It probably will. I assume that the barbarian factions will have bigger unit sizes and a higher attack but shitty defense compared to like Rome, who will have a very balanced, probably more defense, but smaller unit sizes, and that's what I hope to see. That's my point. I'm done.
I think that there'll be. We've got to remember that there's going to be 40,000 units. Well, 40,000 men per army. We've got to remember that the actual unit sizes will increase. There will be 40 unit cards per army. We've got to also remember that. They're going to increase the diversity of the actual men in each unit. So I think they'll. It was either I think it was Napoleon or something. You had like at least 15 different character models per unit. Now I think that it might even be every single unit in each main block unit is going to be different. And they're going to have different heights. They're going to have different builds. So an arch, each unit will have not each unit, sorry, but they'll have different variation in height. So archers, maybe the Romans were quite small compared to, let's say, I think the Germans are going to Germanian tribes would be quite tall, as in Iceni would be quite tall. So you'll have these massive axemen beating down on Roman shields, you'll see the height variation, and that'll be really, really cool.
Don't forget also there's another unit which might make a return, and we haven't actually seen since the Roman ones. Chariots. Do you think they'll make a return? Well,
they have to.
They should do. Really,
yeah, I know that. But how are they going to implement them like so in a game like that? Because the thing is, Chariots. I mean, to be honest, I am not too experienced with Chariots, but they were a bitch to kill in the campaign against Egypt. So, you know, I mean,
I'm pretty sure they'll find a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping
it's not hard. It's just going to be they're pretty much, I think, going to work like bigger cavalry, but with scythes and chopping down. Oh my God, the animation to chop down people.
Do you think Chariots. They'll have blood in it this time because they implemented?
Probably have a blood mod again.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll put blood in because they need to reduce the age rating. To really get it out to the lower age communities, because you've also it's really a history learning tool as well. Teutoburg games, people bought Rome because it didn't have much blood. It was tactical. It was interesting with the history, and parents bought their children the game because it was about history. It was it was kind of non-violent but violent at the same time. So you see
you couldn't see every detail, but you could see. Yeah, I could.
It was very robotic in a way. It like knocked down people. You could almost say they punched them to the ground rather than stab them.
Yeah,
and it was. But I think if they add sort of They might want to lower the age rating, but I still think if they had some sort of DLC that was only for people above the age of like 16 or whatever.
Let's hope that
Like
they don't completely. Sorry to interject. I just thought. Let's hope they don't lower it to a point where you can't even hear a realistic talk because it's too adult for a child to hear. That bastard has killed all of our men.
In Rome Total War there was bastard was implemented in the speeches.
If it's a 16 rated game, then that should be fine.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much fair. That sounds like a fair enough thing.
Well, so all Total Wars have been 16, haven't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Total War
Rome was 12, wasn't it?
I think it was a 7. I can't remember.
It wasn't.
Yeah, Rome is a 7 now.
Oh, I see.
It was
12.
Children at the age of 7 have already discovered swear words. So forget about that. So yeah, I think because we've been recording for quite some time.
You completely went off from Love Spuds, who hasn't had a chance to say
Oh
what
shit!
he thinks
Sorry.
about
No,
units.
no, don't worry too much about it.
No. Seriously. Okay, say your piece, please. I feel really bad now. Come on, say something because I feel really bad because we've had Decider talking, then Rexar, then me. So.
Well, I just wanted to add into the thing about the variation in units and how Rome was had lots of different units and everyone else had like one or two different options. I think with the technology being the way it is, and seeing as that was 10 or so years ago, I expect they will have quite a lot of variation. I mean, even when you said different heights and different faces and that would be such a nice thing to see from a couple of games ago when it was all clone armies.
I think also one of the things that I really want to see is the return of mercenaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of armies in classical period were made primarily of mercenaries.
Like Carthage.
Like Carthage, yes, especially Carthage. Actually, they just
That's probably where they lost
with
a lot.
Hannibal going through. Hannibal's mercenaries were very mercenaries were very well paid.
Yeah,
very
but
well
Hannibal
professional
made the
compared-
mistake of thinking that an elephant could easily walk over a mountain and
he was
totally
right.
be able to fight and
Some
take
of them
over.
lived.
Right.
Most of them
Yeah,
didn't.
they were quite useful.
Yeah, but they still lost. I mean, I'm not too good on my
They-
Roman
they-
history,
no,
but I do
they-
distinctly remember Roman people being able to rule till 400 AD.
Yeah,
but
he
the
did
reason-
conquer most of
no,
southern
the
Italy.
reason-
He could have marched on Rome, but he missed his opportunity. And when he finally did, he stood there, decided he couldn't take it, and then walked away, pretty much.
Yeah, and then he went. It's because Scipio went down to Africa. That's really the turning point. Hannibal
No, that was by the end.
managed to be successful. He just didn't follow through.
He spent almost the best part
and
of a decade
the thing
in
is,
Italy.
the thing is, Carthage politics didn't want to follow him either.
Yeah, if
Anyway,
they'd have supported
this
him
is
and
too
sent over an
historical.
army, then he probably would have been able to take Rome.
Okay, so we've got.
This is too historical.
He obliterated 60,000 Romans in one battle, the Battle of Cannae, without elephants.
Yes,
They
because
were
an
too
elephant
tired.
is like a grenade launcher of Roman times.
They were
It's
dead
like-
by that point, but yeah, Cannae was probably his
Yeah.
most prominent victory.
So it's interesting how Rome was able to somehow get across.
It's just thank that army in southern Italy.
Yes, thank you, Skippy. Okay, so have we gone through everything? Has everyone said their piece? Does everyone want to say anything else? I'm going to try and do this now, so that way I'm a diplomatically fair person.
I'm definitely going to invoice you this time.
I'm good.
I'm fine, yeah.
All right, Decider, you good?
He's gone.
Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Decider has died. We're gonna have to get a couple of people to drag his body and dump it in the pit. So
I'm
of
alive.
that-
I'm alive.
Oh, praise someone who isn't religious. Okay, so he's back from the dead. Jeez, that's good. That's good. Yes.
I'm sorry, I was giving other people speaking time, and I
fair
drifted away from the
Yes, we
conversation.
were just saying how everyone had said their piece because I wanted to be a fair person, so I'm not hated whilst people listening to this thing because I want to be a fair podcaster host, even though this is my second time. This is my second time, by the way. So still a rookie. Don't hate, please.
We didn't have any hate last time.
I know, but I'm afraid I might
Despite me
get some.
offending a lot of COD players.
Well, to be honest, I think a few COD players will probably go outside my house with like burning torches and grenade launchers,
Well, at least this time we haven't really offended anybody.
No.
except dead Carthaginians.
And also, I said women.
and
will
the game.
Oh yeah, women.
And the game developers, if we've been spurting inaccurate information.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
and fanboy.
get in contact with us, game developers, and we'll be happy to
Correct our
to
mistakes.
correct our mistakes.
Yes, indeed. Any game developers out there, thank you for making your game. Correct us now. Okay, so that is that. Thank you very much for joining us. So today we have had Rexasaur.
Rexasaur, and thank you.
Rexasaur. Right, sorry, my bad.
It's
Didn't
fine.
need to. The Rambler.
Well, nice to be here for the second time. Thanks.
Yes,
Thanks for having me.
Sorry for not being not able to speak for a while, but we got there. So you said your bit.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. The Decider.
There we go. Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Decider. I corrected it. Yes. And Love Spuds. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. My first ever podcast, by the way.
Woo!
Never done this before, and it was a good experience. Thank you, guys.
Try hosting.
No
It's a
problem,
nightmare.
no problem.
Oh, yeah.
And this, and I am Crap Hunter, your second time host. So if you liked this, please put it like it on the like button. If you feel anything to send to us, if you are a developer in disguise, send us a comment saying, "Hey, I'm a developer in disguise. This is you should have said this." Blah blah blah, or probably in a more makes more sense way. Comment all that jazz. Please feel free to check out other GDTV videos. We've got a variety of games and a variety of content, so thumbs up to any of that will be appreciated. Also, any feedback on our talking, if feedback on my hosting. Do you want me to get booted out so I don't host anymore and I die? You know, if that's what
they know they don't have a choice.
if any kind of feedback is always appreciated. So I'm sure there'll be links posted in this video. So thank you very much for watching. This is Crap Hunter and all the guys here saying goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Toodle pit.
Take care, guys.
Ah.